I think one of the biggest lies that everybody gets told is like, never go to bed angry. It's like, no, you should go to bed angry. Just a couple days ago, you and I are getting into an argument and we were in the bathroom and it started to get heated. And I just looked at you, I go, listen, we were so accustomed to like voices coming up, tension rising, both people are talking, nobody's listening. And then all of a sudden I was just like, Jedi mind tricks on you. Yeah. And it was like, okay, well, we can talk about this when you calm down. I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah, so angry and so frustrated.
Yeah, you told me, I think the words were, stop acting like a fucking child.
Welcome back to the Late Night Date Night podcast. I'm Lizzie and this is my husband, Sergio. Today we are here to talk about more hard stuff in relationships, so hopefully help other people not feel so alone, right? Okay, that's my goal, but I don't know what yours is.
Yeah, I didn't know. Okay, cool. I didn't know what we were talking about. We were talking about some relationship shit. What's going on?
We sure are. One thing that has made me really uncomfortable in our relationship is when you are growing, whether that be through working with one of your coaches and you're doing all of the hard work on yourself to heal yourself, is that you start to show up differently in our relationship, and then it's just a mirror like up to my face to be like, hello,
yeah, time
to grow, or time to continue to hit the same button on repeat and the same cycles until like you're forced to deal with your own stuff. And so I think that has been one of the hardest things for me in the relationship.
I'm sure. I can't imagine what it's like to be married to me.
Yeah.
Constantly in just go mode, and then learning recently how to sit in just this space of silence. Mm-hmm. What was the biggest, like, what was that first experience like? Or maybe what is the most memorable experience of like when that happened, that you were forced to just like look in the mirror and realize that I was going and you were either coming or you weren't?
Right. Well, it caught me off guard. We repeat the same fights over and over and over again. You know, when you have that same fight for like the 100th time and you expect the person to basically say the same thing or act in the same ways, and all of a sudden you show up differently, and I'm like, wait, what? And so then it just like forces me to be like, okay.
Give me like a specific example, like what happened?
Okay, in the beginning, after Luca was born, we would fight about the same stuff, about like how I felt like I was carrying all the weight at home and you were just working and there was no like co-parenting. We basically just stayed in our own lanes.
Yep.
I remember having the same fight over and over and over about like me just wanting time to be able to go work out and go to the gym, and you had that time plus like going to mountain bike and whatnot, and then all of a sudden you were like, okay, well, you can go in the morning, that works for me. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that would be great. Or another example was
But how is that me showing up differently? Like you're talking about us having the same fight and then I showed up differently and it's a mirror to you. Like I'm confused.
Because I was expecting you to tell me like, no, I need to figure it out on my own. And instead you were like, and I was just like, I just need your help. Like, can you watch him for like an hour or so? And then you were like, okay, well you can, but you can go at this time. And maybe my expectation was that I would be able to go like a little later in the morning, which means I would have to, but like the way that it worked out for us was that I would have to sacrifice getting up earlier in order to basically compromise with you so that I could still go. Mm-hmm. And so then it was like a mirror to myself to be like, okay, well, maybe this doesn't look exactly like how I expected it or exactly how I maybe wanted it or envisioned it, but two parties in a relationship have to compromise. And if that means I have to get up earlier to be able to still go to the gym, then that goal is still accomplished, you know? So like I had to meet you halfway.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember you constantly asking about that, and then I would realize that I was just tired of getting in the same fight with you, and so I was like, listen, if I don't change this dynamic, it's never going to change. Mm-hmm. Like it's so interesting. Like so many guys blame their wives for like the same fights over and over and over again, and then my question to them is like, well, how are you showing up, my man? Like if you show up defensive in the fight, if you raise your voice when she does, if you match her chaos with your chaos, of course nothing's going to get done.
Yeah.
And so I got to this spot where I was like, dude, I'm so done just just like having the same conversation. I am so done just like you having ammunition against me. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to create this life that's going to support both of us, and we're just going to see what happens.
Right. And another example, I think, going off of what you just said, was when we would have those fights, and it was like the 100th time that we had the same fight. And so tensions are high because nothing has changed in the past. And, you know, it's very heated in the moment. And like we're getting real frustrated with each other, or yelling and things like that. And all of a sudden you would be like, no, like, we're not having this conversation. You can go take a break and come back and we'll talk about it once you've calmed down. And so that was like a hard stop for me, where I was like,
what was that like? So we were so accustomed to like voices coming up, tension rising, both people are talking, nobody's listening. And then all of a sudden I was just like, Jedi mind tricks on you. Yeah. And it was like, okay, well, we can talk about this when you calm down. I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah. Well, I was so angry and so frustrated.
Yeah, you told me, I think you said, I think the words were, stop acting like a fucking child. That's what I remember you telling me.
Or,
and I get it.
Fuck you.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Which is, when you hear such a I don't want to say that you're quiet and reserved, but you are fairly quiet and reserved. And so I know you're pissed when you, when you start saying, fuck you. Right? And I was like, okay, well, the most beautiful thing is like, it felt like I've never done jujitsu outside of the Air Force Academy, where I got the shit kicked out of me by some girl because I couldn't let my body like fight back. I was just like in defense mode. But I imagine it being like, you're trying to throw all these blows and you're using all of your energy. And I'm just sitting there being like, defense mode. Like I'm not matching it. I'm just protecting myself. Yeah. And I'm just waiting for you to give me something, and me matching that like forces you to tire yourself out.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was trying, you know, because then it's like, okay, well, it just like shuts it down.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest lies that everybody gets told is like, never go to bed angry. It's like, no, you should go to bed angry. Just a couple days ago, you and I are getting into an argument, and we were in the bathroom, and it started to get heated. And I just looked at you, I go, listen, we have a pattern of having these conversations at the end of the day when I've worked and you've been with the kids all day. We're both at the end of our fuse. There's no need for us to have this conversation right now.
Right.
So why don't we just put this on a shelf and we can talk about it tomorrow morning? And we both were just like, okay. And you did your thing that night, and you brushed your teeth, did your like red face mask thing, whatever the fuck you do, you turned into a robot. And I came downstairs and I drank my element water, and we just kind of separated, which allowed us to come back the next day.
Yeah.
I just wasn't gonna I just won't have a conversation with you when your voice gets raised.
Right. And I just needed that time alone to basically recoup, I guess.
In a similar conversation, right? You've watched me grow, and it's made you uncomfortable at times because it's forced you to grow. One of the biggest evolutions that I've seen in you as a mother is just that the way that you're able to communicate with Luca, our 3-year-old, when he's having a temper tantrum, almost 3-year-old. And I'm almost like, how does she do this? And it's really held up a mirror to me to see the fact that when he is having these moments and I react to it.
Right.
So I've learned how to control my anger and my voice and everything, and my emotions with you. But now I see it coming out with him, and I watch you just like, he's frustrated. Sometimes you lose your shit, right? They are toddlers. But the majority of the time you're just like, you're in his ear like whispering something, and then all of a sudden he's like a puppy who got a treat, and he's just like, and he's acting all normal. And so it's forced me to really kind of look inside myself and be like, well, where is this coming from? Like, why am I so reactive? Why am I so short with the boys? And the realization that I came to is that like, I've been trying to control everything instead of seeing things differently. So when I come upstairs after work and there's toys everywhere and the house is a mess because it's the end of the day, I get like anxious and frustrated, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to clean this all up, versus seeing it as like, when the toys are out and the house is a mess, it means the kids have had an amazing experience with their mom all day. They're having fun.
Right.
And so like, those toys represent life, like aliveness in the house. If it was all clean and sterile, these kids would be like, they would probably grow up to just be playing Nintendo games all the time.
Yeah, they might, or just like scared to do anything because they were met with parents that were just like, no, don't do that. No, like, this is a mess. I feel like kids are just our biggest teachers because they teach us like an endless amount of patience. And I guess I just try to think about like, if I were to respond in like this way where I'm yelling or whatever it looks like, how would that make them feel?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that has been, it's hard because I'm not a perfect parent. I do yell at some points, but I feel like that's also just a sign that I need some like time and space to myself or with us.
Yeah.
Or to deal with the hard conversation that we didn't, had and had to put on a shelf. But yeah.
I think one of the mirrors too that I've seen recently in you of something that I've definitely evolved in, and it's created a massive gap between us. But it's also, I can see you doing the work because you're on this podcast and you're putting yourself out on social media, is this, I really have this like, I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
On the internet. And it's created this gap between you and me. What is that gap? Like, what are you experiencing like right now in this moment as you're trying to close that gap for yourself?
Yeah, I think I've just seen you grow so much in the last year where like you've always had like the I don't give a fuck energy. And isn't that ultimately what we all want? Like we all just want to be at peace with ourselves and fully accept ourselves and say like I don't care what anyone thinks about me because I'm so comfortable with myself. Like I see you bringing that energy and that's just like a confidence that I want in myself too, and so
what do you think is preventing you from having it? What is the gap that you have to close for yourself?
Overthinking things.
I get
and
that.
Like I care way too much about like what people think or what they're gonna say or if they're gonna leave a poor comment about me.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt my feelings.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's natural. I mean, somebody called us. There has been plenty of you
There's
guys.
been plenty of
You guys are wild out there, like just saying anything. Like I love it. It doesn't bother me. Right? Like you keep doing your thing. But there's just people are gonna always say shit. So when I look at this, right, I look at the places where I feel insecure. I look at the places where I lack confidence, and then I start to ask myself, well, why is that? One of the greatest examples I can give you is last May when I was hanging out with my best friends, my LA crew, and they were really challenging me on, me working with Garrett, me in Warrior, me in this man space, and they were just like giving me shit, even about God. And so I felt like just in that moment, I felt very insecure because my foundation was really weak. And so I found myself crumbling. I found myself playing small. I found myself just like being a different version of me. And so for the last few months, like after that, I was just asking myself like, well, why did that happen? And it was because I was performing, not being me.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be this season where as you're trying to establish this new identity and you're letting go of this old one, you feel like you're kind of just like floating in space. And you don't know who you are fully, but you know that you're not this old version of you. These old people that were in your life, some of them will come, most of them won't. And so you feel like you feel exposed. And so in that moment when I felt exposed, I realized that I was trying to be something I wasn't versus just being me.
Right.
So where do you feel like, because a lot of times when you put something out and you're like, that's cringe, or that's not felt comfortable, like where do you feel confident when you put stuff out there?
I think I've had to reframe it for myself where like I don't do it for anyone else. I do it for myself, and I do it for like the process of understanding and getting to know myself again after kids. If I've found that I've spent like the last year, maybe even longer than that, like coming up with these ideas that I think are like so great, and it's my ability to like put myself out there, and people are either gonna like me or they're gonna hate me. It doesn't matter, but being able to be comfortable with myself, to be able to put myself out there, knowing that I did it for myself to build like a more confident version of myself, and that like I don't give a fuck energy, I feel like helps. But it does get a little like I got anxious, yesterday after I made this reel of something that was like in my heart and in my mind after I worked out. You're feeling good, you're feeling strong, got your workout in, gonna spend the rest of the day with your babies and some friends and all of that, and then you like put it out and you get like 5 likes and you get super uncomfortable and you're like, ooh, maybe that was like a little cringy. But at the same point, like
you realize this
it's
is
just
nothing
part of the process, right?
You realize this has nothing to do with social media, right? Social media is just the vehicle for you to grow.
Yeah.
Right? This is a vehicle for you to grow. You putting yourself out there and having hard conversations with your friends who are struggling in their marriage, who are disconnected from their husbands, who are just stressed, depressed, annoyed, all of it. Like, it's just, these are just vehicles for you to grow. What do you think happens if you don't close this gap?
If I don't close the gap
Between
which
you
gap?
and me.
Which
If you
one
live
and
in
me?
this place of insecurity and doubt and it never changes, what happens between you and me?
Well, we just grow apart. Or
What happens to our sex life when you're insecure?
when I'm insecure, then it's not great.
It's terrible,
Yeah.
right? What happens to our sex life when I'm angry?
I don't want to have sex with you.
Well, yeah, right? And so if there's a gap that exists, one of the first thing that disappears is intimacy. And this is why one of my coaches, Tim Adams, told me, he's like, you need to make sure that as you grow, you bring her along. Kevin Ward, my first coach, he told me the same thing. I didn't hear it.
Yep.
Tim told me it. I kind of got it, still couldn't figure it out. Garrett told me, and it took me 2 years to fucking figure it out. And so when a man steps into personal growth and development and he grows, his initial instinct is to come back and just dump it all onto his wife. Look what I learned. Look what I did. Da, 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 da. We're going to do this. Da, 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 da. And it's like, whoa, just because you got shot with a thing of motivation and you're inspired for over 72 hours and you drank a little too much Celsius does not give you the right to come back and like throw it at her. What it does give you the right to is live at such a standard and live so high that you show her, you don't tell her.
Right.
And so by showing you, right, and then also encouraging you to build with me, not just be a part of this, I think it's created the conditions that have forced you to grow.
Well, and also I've always said that I wanted to like put myself out there and post more and see where it goes and what happens. And like the longer I went on with not doing that, I feel like the more resentment that I developed towards myself. And then that shows up in our relationship. And then because I see you growing. And
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
What happens?
It's the mirror.
What happens when you say you want something and then you don't follow through on your commitments?
It's just resentment and anger and frustration towards myself because I said I was going to do it and I said I wanted to do it, but then I don't do it or find excuses and reasons why I didn't do it.
And who does it come out on?
Other people, you.
Me.
Yes.
Shortness with the boys.
Definitely.
And listen, I've been guilty of this stuff too. So I'm not saying like you're the only one who does this. I'm just talking about this
No, I
moment.
know.
Okay. Then there's this other side of this. When you're doing it, you say you're going to do it and then you follow through on your actions. What does that feel like?
You're building confidence in yourself because you set these goals, you said you wanted to do it, and then you did it. It's just like proof that you can follow through on your commitments to yourself.
So when you follow through on your commitments, you feel alive, you feel energized, we feel connected, our marriage gets better, you're a better mother, you're growing even though you're uncomfortable.
Right.
On the other side, when you're not doing this, you're angry, you're resentful, you're frustrated.
Yep.
What happens when all of those things that you say you're going to do and you don't do it, and yet every morning at 3 a.m. you see me at the gym? Every day you see me post. Every day you see me constantly pushing the needle. What does that do is you're not doing it and I am doing it.
One, like you're just the mirror to be like, okay, well, he's doing it because he said he wanted to do it. You've built these habits in yourself that are basically non-negotiables. They're just part of you. Meanwhile, I'm like making the excuses for reasons why I shouldn't do it.
Am I ever coming back and judging you for it?
No.
Am I ever telling you what to do?
No.
Okay, but what are my actions doing for you?
You're being the example
Yeah.
of like, I said I was going to do it, and so I'm doing it.
Yeah, the reason I bring this up is guys want to tell their wife what to do. They want to coach their wives. Quick PSA, motherfuckers, don't do that.
Definitely.
Your wife doesn't want to coach, just like I don't want another mother. So she doesn't tell me what to do. I don't tell her what to do. But what you can do is if you want to inspire your wife to change, you change. So one of the things that I did this year was I decided that I wanted to be an elite fucking specimen in my body. I was tired of seeing photos of myself being like, yeah, I'm in shape, but I'm not fully in shape.
Right.
And I knew that I wanted to create a message without having to open my mouth. So that when I walked into a room, my body said everything that it needed to be said before I opened my mouth or did anything.
Sure.
And so I hired a coach, Coach Carter Montgomery. And I went from being 12% body fat down to 5.8% body fat. And I putting on muscle, I'm getting in really great shape. And you watched me go from being kind of committed to, health and fitness to being like, he's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
What was that like for you over the first 2 months watching me do that before you made a decision?
Well, at first I was like, this is a lot. This is crazy. This is like a super, like regimented plan. But really, I think what was coming to the surface was like, I want to do that. Like I remember conversations that we had upstairs in like our closet before I would go to the gym of like, I was worried about investing $100, into an online workout program, and then to go from that to like actually investing in a coach that's specific to like your needs and what you want to accomplish in your physique is like a big jump, but it just felt like the natural jump. And so once I saw you doing it and like you getting results, and then you were like, we should do this together, and I was like, really? Yeah, I want to do it together. Like, if you're going to be fit, like, I want to be fit too. And, like, I have physique goals and all that, and that I want to accomplish. And so
you tell me the right way to get your wife into shape is to not tell her that she's out of shape?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a
big no-no.
Fucking shocking. Fucking shocking.
Yeah.
I can't. I feel you in on a lot of the stuff that I talk about with these guys.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many guys are like, I'm just not attracted to my wife anymore. I'm like, yeah, no shit. You have bitch tits, motherfucker. I was like, you're out of shape. Would you want to fuck you? And it's just so mind blowing to me. He's like, well, I'm just not. My wife, she just really put on some weight. I'm like, cool, stand up, take your shirt off. Like, look at yourself in the fucking mirror.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting to me how guys, when they aren't doing what they are supposed to do, they will try to control and manipulate their wife.
Yeah.
And so they blame. I'm like, keep giving away your power, dude. And so what I want the guys to see is that when you truly just lead yourself, you become the standard. Your wife will follow. And if she doesn't, then you get to make a decision. Do I want to be with her? Or do I want to say peace out?
And I think there becomes like a certain point where if you don't follow, you have those hard conversations of like, hey, we're not going to fight like this anymore, like you did with us or with me.
What do you feel like has been your biggest growth in the last month?
I think just being true to myself and learning to trust myself a little bit more as I continue to put myself out there and like find my voice through putting myself out there, I feel like is just a constant evolution. It's by no means like solved. It's just part of the process.
I've watched you really step into this place of learning to trust yourself. In the beginning, right, still now, it's learning to trust yourself and realizing that there's going to be times where you start to not trust yourself, and then you come back and you trust yourself for a few days, and then you don't trust yourself. And it's the ability, I've watched you judge yourself and then also give yourself an immense amount of grace and love yourself for just putting yourself out there and trying.
Yeah.
And I think that's been really fun to watch, in the sense that like you growing and seeing you not care as much. I start to ask myself, well, where am I still caring?
Really?
And this, 100%. Like you become the mirror and be like, oh, she's caring less. Like, what do I still care about? What won't I talk about? Oh, interesting.
Are there specific examples that have come up within the last like month?
It's been wild for me to watch from a political standpoint, just two things, right? And the left and the right. When you look at the left, what I've noticed is it's very victim mentality. The world's against us. Poor us. Like we're looking for a fix. Like we want people to help us. And I get that. Like there are things in this country that need to be fixed, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But it's very like they don't have agency over their own life. And then you look at the right and they are just like problem solvers. They constantly look like it's optimistic. Like I can do this. I can fix this. It doesn't matter. Like I can take care of this. And it's just they have more agency over their own life. Like they believe that they are the creators of their own life and they can fix things. And it's been one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know if I haven't been willing to talk about it. It's just been a recent observation. And mind you, like I've been on both sides. I have voted for both sides. And it's just been this thing where I'm like, okay, when I see you grow and you're talking about things now that are making you uncomfortable, I start to ask myself, well, what am I not willing to talk about that makes me uncomfortable? And is it relevant? Because it's not just like shock jock. Like we could talk about anything. But is it relevant to my own personal growth and development?
Right, yeah.
So you have become a mirror to me.
Interesting.
It's wild.
Well, in politics aside, I feel like you could even generalize that statement. Like there's these people that continue to live in like the victimhood mentality, repeat the same cycles. And then there's people, the other side, that are just like, well, this is what it is. And like the only way that things are going to change is maybe if I change myself.
And that's what I see in the guys, a lot of victim mentality. Like, I want my wife to fix it, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
nice, dude.
Well, Yeah, we want a man that's a leader and that shows up strong and confident. We don't want a man that's going to be another child for us to take care of.
Hold up. I am confused as shit right now. I want you to just, I mean, I love it. I'm glad that you're saying this because I truly believe it's a statement based on the health of our relationship and where we're at.
Right.
But there is this piece that I'm just curious about. You've always said gender norms and gender roles, it's always bothered you. And now there seems to be like this pivot, this new way of thinking about you want a leader, you want somebody to lead the family. So just help me understand, like where did that pivot happen?
Yes, I do think that gender norms exist in this world, but finding a balance like just has helped us a ton. And you can lead in some ways and I can lead in others. Okay. You know, like for instance, for things to change in our marriage and who was doing what at home, I had to lead that conversation because that was an area that I was leading in because I was in charge of taking care of the kids every single day. But I have to know like what I'm in charge of and what I can let go of and then give you the reins to be like, okay, I can take care of that.
Yeah.
You know, so like I feel like we just lead in different ways, but for you to lead and allow me to like step in and lead too, like you have to be confident and sure enough in yourself where I can still speak my truth and speak like what I need.
Yeah.
Without you getting like defensive and being like, no, like this is what you do. Like you're a stay-at-home mom. Like figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have said that back in my younger days. Well, I think on that note, one of the biggest things of growth for me over the last month is the recognition I've had of my responsibility is to create the container for the home.
Yeah.
Your job is then to fill the container with the energy of whatever it is. So I get to hold the space. Hold the space for you, hold the space for the boys, for all of your emotions with no judgment, for all of your feelings, for everything that's going on. And I think the man's job, the man's responsibility is to create the container that allows everybody to be inside and hold that container.
Yeah.
Right. And the only way for a man to do that is he has to work on himself and be able to have that capacity to do it. And so that's the ultimate leadership. Like I'm leading and creating the container so that you feel safe to lead inside of it. When you're forced to lead because I'm not leading, right? I had somebody reach out to me the other day and she's like, there's a difference between a strong woman and a powerful woman. A strong woman is strong because she's been forced to be strong because no man in her life has taught her that she doesn't have to constantly be in her masculine energy. Yeah. A powerful woman is a woman that can be fully in her feminine energy, still be strong, but not in her masculine energy all the time.
Yes.
And so there's a difference between a strong woman and a powerful woman. I want a powerful woman, which you are. A strong woman, there's no way that I want to have sex with a strong woman, right?
Right.
Because like when you're bringing big dick energy to a marriage, as a woman, I'm not really into dicks. I like vaginas, right? So I think that's one of the things where like when I can lead, it allows you to step into your feminine and then fully express your power. And that's what I've noticed for myself is that I have to be comfortable in holding the space, which means I have to be comfortable in the chaos.
Yes.
That's been my biggest growth.
100%.
Yeah.
Just crush that explanation.
Yep. Well,
yeah.
Sometimes smart shit comes out of my mouth. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to be a feminine girly, you know?
Yeah, I do too. That's why I truly believe our sex life is off the charts right now because of that. Like I've never had this much desire to hook up with you, to take you on date nights, to have sex, to do all of it because it's like I've never been this attracted to you in my life.
Right.
Like ever. Because just the way that you're showing up in this powerful, feminine leadership energy.
Being able to step into yourself. And
yes.
Same thing for you. Like, I'm more attracted to you now than probably on the day of our wedding day.
Say it one more time into the camera. Just in case it wasn't recorded.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
You've been working on your body. You've shown that, like, you've got the dedication and discipline and all that, and then you're continuing to just lean into more of yourself. And I feel like that's what everyone is attracted to. That's what I'm attracted to in you. And so then, like, if you're gonna do that, then I'm gonna do that too because I want that feeling.
And this is why, at the end of the day, I say this on every podcast, when you have a vision for your marriage that you've built together and you're building together, it accelerates everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love that there's these gaps that we continue to close because they make us uncomfortable. Yeah. And it's really just a mirror on what we need to work on.
Yeah, for sure.
Dope. All right, let's finish this thing off with like our normal question. Do you want to pick this time? Or,
I think I picked last time.
Yeah, so you hold them.
Okay.
Actually, I'll pick. You hold them.
Okay.
Hold the cards.
Hold the cards. Hold the cards.
Okay. Then you got to put them back in there. There you go. Here's the question. What are your deepest professional goals?
Oh. For me? Okay.
No, I'm not asking myself the question.
I thought you were going to answer first. Sorry.
Why, thank you. Let me answer this question.
I don't know. I don't know exactly where that falls for myself. I'm just kind of trusting the process of putting myself out there in our marriage, motherhood, food, fitness, and health and wellness, because that's what I like, and my skincare journey and all these things. And so I guess I'm just trusting that with time and the longer that I do this, I'll figure out what that looks like professionally. But right now, or I guess I do have some sort of vision of trying to build something for myself on the side. So you have your business in marriage coaching, and then I have some way of either doing that with you or also having something to myself on the side. So
yeah, I think hearing you say that, the amount of impact that you've had in I Am the Standard with the men that come on and they hear what you have to say on the podcast and then they make a decision based on what you said has been big.
Yeah.
Right?
That's cool.
It's great. You're massively contributing to changing people's lives.
Yeah.
For me, one of the biggest professional goals that I have is just to build what I'm building, right? I Am the Standard is it's so much bigger than just about me, right? I want to have the wealth and the experiences and the money and the home and the cars and all of that simply so that I can use it as the ability to market what God has done in my life. But this is really about the ability to get into people's lives, into people's marriages, and to change the man. Because if you can change the man, you can change the home. You can change the home, you can change the neighborhood, change the city, country, the whole thing. I've heard that many times. And so the thing that I'm building, my biggest professional goal is I want this to be at 1,000 dudes. 1,000 guys in Standard, building a brotherhood, because that's the one thing that most men lack is this brotherhood piece. And I know that if we can continue to wake men up and continue to show them how to lead in their marriage, not only are we going to have less divorces, we're going to have happier couples, but the biggest thing for me is kids. The impact that it's going to have on the children. You already knew where I was going. And so that's a big one for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
Changing lives out there.
That's what I tell Luca. Goes, do you have to go to work? I go, I'm changing lives. And he goes, changing lives? I go, yeah, we're changing lives.
Changing lives.
Yeah. So listen, if this changed your life at all, right, here's what I want you to do. Leave us a review. If it's a 5, great. If it's a 1, that's fine too. Just be honest about wherever we're at. Come follow Lizzie on Instagram. Come follow me on Instagram. And send this to one of your friends if you feel like it's going to benefit them. Until next time, take care.
Peace.
Peace.